Hello, this is Jeremiah Harrison and Michaela Harrison with Liturgy of the Home, and little Elizabeth, who's joining us in the video today. And this is the next video in our series, our weekly series of going through the calendars. So we're going to start this one going to the second week of Easter, and I'll give it to you.
All right,
Take it away, Low Sunday.
We zoom in. So the gospel is Doubting Thomas, and I pulled from both icons, an icon which I'll show you in a minute, and also a medieval imagery. In the new calendar, this is Divine Mercy Sunday, and though we're following the old calendar, I do look at the new calendar and try to put in things that make sense, that go together. So as you notice, the rays of light coming from our Lord's side are both red and white, because his mercy comes from his heart, and so that's a little hint in there. Let's go ahead and go to the source image.
You see that?
Yeah. All right. So here's an icon.
Yes, from the east.
Yes, and that's most of the composition was taken from this icon, and then let's go to the medieval one. It's a little low res, but if you zoom in,
you still all the elements are there, right? So the east and west.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the calendar. Okay, so Monday is what's called a feria, and that means there's no saints.
Now, before we jump into the week, I thought it might be good to talk about the mantle for a moment, because essentially, at least that's what we started with when we were thinking through the design, is having those mantles above each week, sort of framing, because it's sort of Sunday that frames, that sets the tone. It's the prime. There's a primacy of Sunday within the week, and so we had chosen to have these mantles sort of frame the week. And then, so here this is from the gospel itself, right? This is relating to the picture, the scroll, or the words of Christ. She wants to talk. We're going to get to lion. We're going to get there. Why did you choose this imagery of the birds, and what are you after here?
So the mantles is where I have some creative, artistic license to show things that go along with the season. So each of the mantles either has a theme from the gospel or from the season. This one is spring related, but also it's swallows. Swallows, and there's a progression, there's a story in the mantle. So at the far left, you may zoom in, at the far left you have the swallows building their nest, and then a little over to the right you see the mother swallow on the nest on her eggs, and then the next picture over you see them both looking at the eggs, which are getting ready to hatch. And then a little farther over, you see the baby birds that are out, and both parents are bringing them food. And then a little farther over, there they are, old enough and flying and leaving the nest. Just a classic spring scene. I love swallows. There's symbolism in the swallows, and I don't know. Just really liked it. Also the eggs. I guess the Easter egg is, new life. This is very fitting with the resurrection, and so it is. There's multiple things you can pull out of that.
Right.
Anyway.
So then into the week.
Okay, so now back to the lion.
I notice. So one of the things we do is, you'll notice these are ferias, ferias in Paschaltide. Now, we didn't have this so much in the Lent calendar because every day had a specific liturgy. But when you have a feria of any other time of the year, it's the readings from the previous Sunday, right?
That's right.
So these days are sort of an opportunity to choose something to reflect on, during this week. Now, sometimes we'll try to pull the imagery from what is actually, we'll go to Dom Guéranger or go to the other parts of the liturgy of the hours, pulling from matins of the different lessons here. But now this is interesting. I don't know if you were going to tell the story. I guess since I'm already going. So you chose the Lion of Judah that day, actually not having read through, because we were kind of moving quickly. But then later we discovered on this very day, when I was putting together the companion guide, that Dom Guéranger had a canticle, And at the very beginning of the canticle was the Lion of Judah. So it was perfect. We didn't intend it, but that's what we were after.
Yes. Why don't you go ahead and go to the source image?
Want to see the source?
One.
Okay.
That's what you're using back.
There.
Look at that statue. Isn't that cool?
is.
Mine's not nearly as good as that one. But there you have the lion crushing the serpent. And then in the image on the calendar, I put in the standard that Christ carries. So that way the children could very easily identify that it was Christ. So this is a title of our Lord, is the Lion of Judah, in case that wasn't obvious.
So St. Hermenegild.
Yes.
Tuesday.
So we can go straight to his source image, where we got it from, is the statue. There it is. See the similarities. He, Prince, King, I'm forgetting which one, but he resisted the Arians and was put to death for it. Go back really quick to him. Yeah. Okay. So you notice he's holding in his hands the what do you call those?
Those shackles.
The shackles, basically. Yeah, because he was imprisoned, and then also notice he's holding a palm, which palm. The palm branch was a symbol of martyrdom. So if you see a saint holding a palm branch, that's what that means. Yep. You zoom
I like
back
your
in.
palm better.
Zoom in. All right, so there you go. So, and also I wanted to point out that he's in the heavenly garden, meaning I think for children to explain that, sometimes when they see these instruments of, the saint's torture or different things that might be scary to children, they help them to realize that they're in heaven now and these things are their glory. And so a lot of times with a martyr in the calendar, if it's not a specific scene from the life of the saint, then I'll put the clouds and put the flowers to show that they're in heaven now, and I think that'll help kids to relate a little more. I know that can be kind of a hard thing for children sometimes, and for parents to know how to explain. So that's why the flowers are there in the clouds. Next we go over to St. Justin.
St. Justin?
All right, there he is. We can go straight to.
And also you have a commemoration.
That's right.
Saints.
She wants to go back.
Tiburtius. Yes, she's having. This is a game.
This is fun.
She's
for
having
her.
a game. This is good. Yes.
Yes, the commemoration is on the left, smaller, which means that they will be commemorated in the Mass, but the Mass of the day is the one for St. Justin. Go ahead. I'll let you do the Mass.
Sure. Yeah.
Whose lap do you like better?
I think she likes going back and forth.
She can sit right in the middle.
That's what she's after.
Okay.
So here's where this is the source.
The St. Justin.
Do you know where the statue is?
No.
We have to start gathering that.
We have to start gathering that
Yeah, that's right.
information.
That's right. This is probably in Rome.
Probably. It looks like it. All right.
Now.
Oh, also we want to point out the red color on the.
White, red on his robes.
No, the marking.
Oh, that's right.
We have
Each of the days. Yeah, you will see this if you have a liturgical calendar like from the fraternity, or you'll see that they mention the color of the vestments. So that's how we've marked the color of the vestments the priests will wear for the Mass of that day. So St. Hermenegild, St. Justin are both red for martyrs, because both are martyred. And that's, so those little flags. Oh, we mentioned that before. I guess we just mentioned it again and again.
Well, some people may have not seen this before. So
next we have the Pelican. Now we have 2 more Feria days, and so on one of those you depicted the Pelican of Mercy, which there's just so much. I know
another
it's
title of our Lord.
It's another title, and see, I guess we'll pull back here. We'll look at the source image for that we pulled.
So the Pelican is representative of Christ because the legend, or as it said, is that the pelican pierced itself to feed its young from its own blood, and so it's a reflection of Christ giving his life for us. And then the phoenix is.
Now, quick before you go to the phoenix, I wanted to. This is something I ran into. I didn't know this, but there's an Aesop fable told about the pelican.
Oh, okay.
So I tell my boys Aesop's fables at night. They really love to. I usually try to read a few of them. And one of Aesop's fables, there's an ostrich that comes up to a pelican, and a pelican had pierced itself to feed its young.
Okay.
And the ostrich was making fun of it because the ostrich was saying how much better its life was, that it just laid eggs and forgot about them. But instead the pelican upbraided it for, not caring for its young at all. So I thought how interesting this image is. this idea is pre-Christ.
It's very old.
But and then Christ is, and also just the significance of we as the children, we feed upon the body and blood of our Lord. He feeds us His very self, and that's just, there's so much there. Phoenix on Friday.
Also, so I wanted to point out, so the whole idea of doing images like this for fairy is, I really was at a loss at the beginning of what to do, and I realized, oh, this is gonna...
Don't fall.
Don't fall.
When I started putting these in, I realized, yeah, we won't fall. So I realized this was so beautiful to line up, because the pelican of mercy, that is a symbolism connected closely with Christ in dying, in His passion, and then the phoenix is another bird that it symbolizes Him rising again. And so to kind of have those two birds side by side, that was like, wow, that's really cool. Phoenix is also a very old symbol. The legend is that the phoenix can't die. It will rise again. There you go. There's an old image of the phoenix.
So, and finally at the end of the week we have Our Lady.
Yes.
Saturday of Our Lady.
So I'm just doing different variations of this symbol of Mary, of the interlocking M and A. The colors are the same as Our Lady's clothing in the other parts of the calendar. And the M and the A, I believe, is for Ave Maria.
Okay, I've wondered about that.
There.
Wondered that.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end. Now I think we're
I
going
think
to...
we have one more. We've got the saint.
The commemoration of the day?
Yeah, I think we have hit that source image for...
Saint Anicetus.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Nope, so first we have
there's-
that. Yep,
there's
that's
the
what I thought.
M.
There's the inspiration for that. And nope, that's it.
Oh, I didn't save the other one? No, there
Oh,
he
this
is.
is it? This
There
is
he
it?
is.
Okay.
Yes, this is the source image where I figure out like what he's
There's-
wearing, his clothes.
In some of these sources, you don't really have a lot of material to work with. You found some
Yeah,
of these
well,
saints are hard to find other images.
Oh, there she goes. Back to you again.
Back to me. I think that's
This is what it's like working on art in our house.
yes.
We just
Four
juggle kids back and
She's
forth.
the youngest, but
Okay, well, there's the swallow.
yes. Now, one of the things I want, as we're wrapping it up, we're coming to the end here. I wanted to show you. This was last year's Easter calendar. This was the first Easter calendar that Michaela made. So, and this is before we did full color.
Yep.
See, we're doing just black and white. And you can see, now notice one thing to notice is she kept with the themes here, just like you see on the full color one. You have the bird, you have the same scene here, and also the very same scene with Christ the Good Shepherd. That'll be next week. That'll be next week's piece. But just to give you an idea of the progression that we've gone from now, and you notice the size of this. This is actually quite a bit larger. This was 8 sheets. So our current calendar, the current calendar format is 4 sheets, 4 8.5 by 11 sheets. This was huge. So some of you who have been with us from the beginning, you remember when we came out with this one. Now this, of course, this covers the entire season of Easter, so 7 weeks are depicted here.
Right.
Whereas in our calendar, we're gonna have to break it into 2 spreads.
Can I point out something too about that calendar?
This is the first 3, and then there'll be 4 more weeks.
Right,
So,
that's
yeah.
the ones I'm working on right now.
Right, part 2 is yeah, this down here you're working on right now.
So I wanted to point out, several people have asked us why we can't just reprint this. Like why do they have to buy it each year? And I wanted to give this as an example. Every year it's different which saints' feast days fall where on the calendar. So
Like Saint Joseph is falling in here in the
during Easter,
during Easter,
but this year
the
he
year
was
he's
in
later
Lent.
on.
So
Yeah, but
there's every year is different.
Well, and also some saints, depending upon when they fall, they might receive a full day, not just commemoration, right? Depending upon if there's a
Yeah.
higher ranked feast that happens on that day. So
Exactly. So I just wanted to point that out in case you're noticing. It's not the same calendar every year. It's be very hard to make it. I mean, we might be able to find a way.
well, and I'm thinking of trying to make a way to make it reusable, a kind of a product. Oh, we're gonna bump in the mic. A product where you could use a solid frame and reassemble the calendar each month.
It might be
It
complicated.
would be a bit complicated. It'd be for those not for the faint of heart, but I think we could do it. So
But the goal of the calendars is to make it easy, and so we're already pre-assembling everything. But for those who would like to not to repurchase it every year, we might be able to come up with a way eventually. So
But even so, when we get to the full, where we're trying to go the fully printed calendar, they're going to be a lot less expensive. I mean, really, right now, y'all are supporting us as we build the art. Right now, each season's coming for $15 for a whole season. like this, which is 2 spreads, which all full color. It's an enormous amount of work. Next year, when we have most of this work done and less work is done in rearranging it, we get them fully printed. We'll be able to print. We'll be able to offer them at a far lower price. But I'm hoping we're able to have a lot more folks that know about this project and that like it. I hope we can sell a lot more calendars too then. So, but all right, you guys. I think that wraps us up for this week. And thank you so very much for your support. Keep us in your prayers. God bless.